Hey everybody, how you doing today? Sorry, I'm getting this out a little bit late to you here, and I do have to apologize. I'm not going to be my normal self. I'm a little bit under the weather. I think the family caught the flu, and we're having a rough week. So, other videos for me, I'll be a little more upbeat here. So, I want to talk about the syllabus, talk about the class here, give you a little introduction, and we'll go from there. So, I know you folks know how to read, so syllabus review is one of my least favorite things to do, but there's a couple highlights I'm going to pull out here. One, this is my cell phone number. I have an office phone. Don't use it, please. I don't check it often enough, and just use my cell, and you can text it, which is great. I don't have set office hours yet. Go fill out that survey. Um, in week one, the week one overview that has a link to a when to meet, tell me when are the best times to have office hours. I usually like doing late at night stuff after my kids go to bed, and I find a lot of folks are free to meet, 9, 10, 11 p.m. at night. So let me know. Not much of a morning person, especially in the summer. I'm probably not going to be up before 8, 9 in the morning or so, but call or text me anytime. I'm usually up past midnight or so. If you leave me a message, let me know what time is a good time to call back, because if I call you back at 11 p.m. when I'm free, sometimes people get upset with me because they have to get up at 6 in the morning for work. So just let me know what time is good. For office hours, we can meet virtually on Discord or Zoom. I like Discord because I'm already there. It's on my phone. Zoom is great too. We can do screen sharing, either one. So I've got my Zoom room link here. Password is capital CIS. We meet never because it's around 9 asynchronous. We will have one meeting at the end of class for your final presentations that we'll schedule. I've got lots of different slots available, morning, afternoon, evening, weekends, to make it fit your schedule. We'll get there near the end. The catalog description should be a copy paste. Prereqs, nothing interesting here. Some things that we assess: critical thinking is huge when it comes to programming. How you can apply the knowledge that you've learned to the task to solve that problem, right? How do we take all the tools and things that we've learned about this language and use it to solve problems? Other specific outcomes, we'll talk about web service requests and the overall architecture of web applications, web browsers, operating systems, naming services. So a little bit of the basics of how the web works. We'll look at this model view controller application design model and specific limitations for PHP and Java. We're split between PHP and Java. It's a little interesting, but it's fun to see how both languages do the same ideas here. We'll make PHP and Java web application code that can process web form data, including list processing and table displays. We'll describe the role of Java servlets and server pages within the MVC design model. And if this doesn't make sense, that's okay, because we're going to get to all these things when we get there, but these are, throughout the assignments that we have, things that we can assess. And no matter which section you take or who teaches this one, which is almost always me, but if someone else were to teach it, they would assess these same topics here. Wait just one moment. Let me find my mute here. Oh, goodness, where is it? There, I think I found the mute. We'll look at expression language, common items for the JSP standard tag library, which is great. Manage session data, cookies, use a relational database for basic transactions, read, update, insert, delete. This is fantastic. This is my favorite part of the course, because basically all web applications, any sort of application we interact with, is going to be talking to a database. Generally a relational database, although we're starting to move into some more of the NoSQL style databases for things. But most everything in the world runs off a relational database. So we'll look at how we can connect to it and do some fun things with it. I'll talk about how you can send an email message. I don't give a demo because I'd have to give out a password, and I don't want to do that just because I make these videos public on YouTube. But it's super easy. I'll show you the library, and it's like 5 lines of code. It's amazing to send email messages for like a self-registration or sign up, or usually when you sign up for a site, they send you a confirmation code you have to click to make sure you actually have access to that email address and that stuff. And then some web client-side technologies like AJAX requests. I'll take a look at using those later. We don't do too much with jQuery, JavaScript, because you probably have done that before in the other classes that you've taken, which weirdly are not prereqs. But sure, if you're taking them a little bit out of order, then that's okay. Basically, all the web forms we do, we can copy paste out of the book for examples or stuff that I give you. We can start with that as like a template and then modify a couple things. So we use 2 different books. This one's a little bit old, but it's cheap, and the core topics haven't changed much because we're just kind of looking at the basics here. So Java Servlets and JSP, the 3rd edition from Maroc, and then they have a slightly newer version here, PHP and MySQL. For PHP, this one came out a little bit more recently. Here's the ISBN. You can get them from the Oakland OCC bookstore, or you can get it from your favorite online bookstore, or everyone to get that from is great. And then some other tools that we're going to use. I'm a big fan of GitHub and the Git source control tool, the most widely used source control tool in the industry. GitHub is great because they give it away for free to educational use and open source projects. We'll use the GitHub desktop client because I like using one Git client no matter what language I teach. Here's the link to my Discord server. So join up here. You can react to gain access to the rest of the server. You accept the rules, and then you go pick whichever class roles you want to have access to. So it tries not to clutter it up too much. When we get to Java, we're going to use the OpenJDK download here. We do use NetBeans. It's not my favorite IDE, but it'll be the same IDE for PHP and for Java, which is nice. We don't have to switch gears. There are some nicer ones, but you have to deal with licenses. So this is just the easier way. And then XAMPP is a phenomenal tool that gives us the rest of the things that we need. And we've got that tools install video you can get to. Just whatever latest version they have available is great. If you don't install all these on your own computer, you can use a virtual desktop. I don't recommend the web version. For some reason, IT said that one's not as good as the full client. So take a look at that one. When it comes to plagiarism and cheating, this is a big pet peeve of mine. And my policy is if you cheat, you will not pass the class. If you engage in academic dishonesty, you will fail the class immediately. There are no zeros on the assignments. There are no try agains because it devalues the degree for everyone. If you've had me before, I apologize if you've heard this speech. But when you cheat your way through school and you go and get hired and you suck at your job because you cheated your way through school and you don't know how to do anything, that employer is going to think we did a terrible job teaching you at OCC, and they're not going to want to hire other OCC graduates. So it's in all of your best interest to not let people cheat and not to encourage them to cheat and tell them to just put the work into it. Like, you're taking the class for a reason. Try and learn the thing and do it. Right? The idea with all the assignments and the projects and the quizzes are to help build your knowledge of this material and have you apply it. So if you're not sure, though, please ask. Always happy to ask. I know programmers get paid lots of money in the real world to copy-paste code. This is academia, so we will cite our sources. Just like when you write an English paper, though, you can't copy 5 pages and turn it in a single quote and say, here's my 5-page paper. Right? There's no original work there. So what we're going to do is we can use our resources to find pieces of code, integrate that in, add our original work to it, and we're great. Right? Just like in the newspaper, you cite your source, that's fantastic. You're using what's available to you, but you have to add original work to it. Right? So generally, like with an English paper, you want, I don't even know, what is it? Definitely less than half of the words to be original words, right? Because you want to be showing what you're thinking here. You just cite other sources. So that's a pretty good rule of thumb. Definitely less than half. And if you're not sure, just ask. Like, I know I come off sounding like a jerk here, but please ask me if you're not sure. That being said, Chegg.com is the worst. I hate them. They are awful people, and they're currently getting sued by Pearson, who I also hate because they just want to take everyone's money. So I hope they both lose, and they're terrible because they pay to let people cheat with a, quote, tutor service or whatever nonsense they call it here. And they have the ability, if I give them my test or my project, they can keep it off of that service for 24 hours. So if they can keep it off for 24 hours, they can keep it off indefinitely. They just choose not to. So I despise these people. So do not post questions there. Do not cite answers posted there. Any use of Chegg.com or similar websites will be considered academic misconduct. That's Course Hero and all sorts of other places. Because if you look in our OCC student handbook, which I'm sure all of you read word for word for word, every single page there, the acquisition of tests or other academic material or distribution of them is a violation of our policy. That is academic dishonesty. So posting a question from class to Chegg.com is academic dishonesty, right off the bat there. So just don't do it, please, right? Just put the work in, okay? Promise, if you're trying, basically everyone will pass if they try, right? My goal is for everyone to learn the things and be able to do it. And if you're not sure, reach out to me. We can get you in touch with tutoring. I can meet you during my office hours, and we'll figure out what's going on here. A copy paste of the student code of conduct. Make sure you remain in class until dismissed. I mean, it's a copy paste. The grading policy. I like the weighted system here because it makes my life easier. I don't have to try and make sure all the points add up to an even number or anything like that. So all of the lab assignments will make up 10% of your overall score. So just because a lab is worth 10 points and a project is worth 10 points does not mean they make up the same amount of points in your overall score in the class. So projects will make up 30%. Quizzes will take up 10%. Midterm is 10%. That is our only exam. I'm not fond of exams. We just have one here. We'll prep for it. I'll give you last semester's exam because I have to rewrite them every time, because not that you folks would do it, but some people post these things on Course Hero or Chegg and places. And then the final project makes up the bulk of your score. This is the last month of class we'll be working on this. Makes up 40% of your overall score. So if you don't complete the final project, basically you don't pass. That's sort of intentional. This is like the capstone, putting it all together. Here's all the things we've learned, and this one you will present in a one-on-one Zoom session with me where we're going to kind of go through your code and take a look at it, and you demo it. It's a lot of fun. I know it sounds a little bit stressful, but it's generally pretty easy here to kind of show off your final project, and it's nice. The grading scale should be pretty standard. I copy pasted that. The end mark, basically, if you don't do anything in the first 15% of class, which for 15-week classes is 3 weeks, you get an end mark. It's financial aid issues and things, so I'll be in touch. If you're watching this, you're probably not going to get one, so that's fine. For late work, I generally don't take late work at all without prior written approval. If something's coming up, I know this is summer, if you've got travel plans, reach out, let me know. I'll be flexible where I can. It's difficult with the projects because I generally post solutions to them after they're due because we kind of build off the projects. You'll see when we get there to our projects how that works. So that one's tough to do, and we'll have 2 weeks for all the projects, but the weekly quizzes and labs, you just got to stay up to date with them here. If you're off for a week, let me know. We can be a little bit flexible for a week here if we need to. So the student policy and support information, they should all be copy pastes in the same in everyone's syllabus. For FERPA, I don't tell anybody anything. I say go look in D2L. Americans with Disabilities Act, please contact the Access Office. They'll send me the paperwork, and then we can put into place reasonable accommodations. They do take some time, so the earlier the better. The Academic Support Center is fantastic. We have tutoring. I usually say free, but free is not the right word here. It is no additional charge tutoring because it's paid for with your tuition and tax dollars. Take a look at the Orchard Ridge schedule here. Oh, good. I think I got mute there. There are a couple folks who can tutor for $24.54. Michael's fantastic. He was a former student of mine. Jordan was a former student of mine. And Mr. Tim is phenomenal. He's actually been an instructor with us at times who got a master's in math after he retired from his industry job in IT, and mostly teaches math classes now. So he tutors for CIS because that's his background, but thought math would be more fun to teach. I don't know why. I think he's crazy, but that's okay. He's a super nice guy. So a couple tutors options, and they've got amazing hours. There's some Saturday hours. There's later in the day hours here. And Jordan goes late at night, which is fantastic. So or early in the day, that's up to you. I don't know what your schedule's actually like. So reach out to them. They can meet with you for about an hour. Just don't ghost them, or otherwise you'll lose your tutoring privileges. Where for my office hours, I only have about 15 minutes or so because I've got about 120 folks that I need to be able to meet with throughout the weeks. So I can't take big blocks for individual people, unfortunately. So they're a fantastic resource to check in with and just kind of talk through things. For D2L issues, call the help desk. That's like the site isn't loading, content is all me. Technology appropriate use regulations. Don't do dumb things with college resources or you'll lose access to those resources. Be kind for Connecticut. Public safety link is here for online async, so it probably doesn't matter much. And then the libraries are amazing. Their catalog and the research databases, they've got tons of really cool IT books. There's a whole, it's not a journal, it's like a website. I forget what the term is for it here, that has all sorts of IT books for programming, any sort of topics you want. They've got books on. So I'll try and find that link for you folks later. For me, my goal is to have things graded within a week of the due date. If you check me out on Rate My Professor, I suck at this. To be fair, last winter was rough. I got a new chronic illness, was in the hospital. And then time before that, I forget on other family issues. I've got 7 kids, so someone's always sick. But this summer should be pretty good. I don't have a lot on my plate, so I'm hopeful that we can actually keep up with this and it won't be an issue anymore. So we'll see. But if I do get behind, I'll let you know. All the projects have rubrics, so you're going to be assessing yourself and telling me how you did on the project. The labs are mostly participation points. This is our chance to practice some of these things. So if we're in a in-person class, the last little bit of class, I'm not going to talk for all 4 hours because I get bored of hearing my own voice. And if I go more than like 2.5 hours, people are just completely checked out. So we would switch to lab time, and you'd be doing this with the partner next to you anyway. So the labs are mostly participation points. I'm happy to help on labs if you have questions. Work with your partner. They're a phenomenal resource. You folks are welcome to work together on the lab exercises. Your partners, classmates are great resources for that. There's no issues there. The projects need to be your individual work, though. And then for email response or any sort of communication, 24 hours or less, like any good millennial, I've got my phone on me basically all the time, unless my little guy's watching YouTube Kids. So Discord comes here, my email comes here, text messages come here, right? Email, all those sorts of things. So reach out anytime. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you haven't heard from me within 24 hours, please ask again. Contact me again because they might have just lost it in the file, or maybe my little guy swiped away the notification and I just missed it. So reach out again. And then our tentative schedule for the class. So we start Thursdays at midnight, and we end Wednesdays at 11:59 p.m. each week. So the first week is just the course introduction, tools overview, get everything installed, get your first program up and running, make sure you can do your Hello World example, and then our icebreaker, get to know your classmates lab exercise, and then working with Git for the practice exercise. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. And then we start into the PHP material first. We finish up all of PHP, and we have our midterm, and then we switch gears and start looking at how we do these things in Java. So the first 3 projects are all PHP-based projects, and then we'll have our midterm, and then we start our last individual project is our Java project, and then we start the final project on July 20th, and we will present. So 8/17 is the last possible day, but the semester doesn't end until the following Monday. So we'll have a little bit of wiggle room there for presentations. They don't all have to be that day. So we'll have that Thursday, Friday, I'll offer a couple times Saturday, Sunday, and the following Monday for presentations, as I do need to have grades in by that time. So we'll see how that goes. And if it does need to change, I'll let you know. I'll post here in D12. If you got any questions or concerns, let me know. Always happy to hear from you. You folks take care.